Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. MattCam89 here, and as you can see here, we have our Loved Again media box. So the past 2 months for this company has been very good. So really excited to get to this box and see what other goodness they are sending us for the month of February. And if you're not familiar with Loved Again Media, they are a monthly subscription box. However, they don't just do video games, they also do music and movies. So if that's your thing, you can get mystery boxes for either of those. What's cool about them is you do get to select your genres and what consoles you want to get games for. Typically, they are disc based systems. The one caveat with them, which I will mention in every Loved Again Media video is that they do not keep track of the games that they send you, nor do they have a list that you can input the games that you currently own. So there is a good chance that you're going to get some dupes in this box. So just keep that in mind. Typically recommend it for collectors that don't have a very large collection and don't care about getting loose discs, things like that. So let's get into the box here. I already see a loose disc here. It is a GameCube game. So the past 3 months, they've been sending me some really good GameCube games, and this is another great GameCube game. It's not a heavy hitter like the Mario Party games that I've been getting, but this is actually really cool. It is True Crime New York City. If you're not familiar with that series, it is kind of like a GTA clone, but a very good one for the time being. I'm not sure if I owned this one as a kid. I think I owned was True Crime Los Angeles, I think it was, or LA, something like that. But pretty excited to get this. I may have played it at one point, but definitely not enough. This one looks to be in really good condition as well. Typically, the last couple of GameCube games, although they worked, you can tell that it went through the resurfacer. But this one here, looking really, really good. Like I said, this is a GTA clone, so you can get an idea. However, I think in these games, if I remember correctly, you typically play as a cop or a good guy that sometimes has to do not so good things. So True Crime, New York City. Really cool game to get on the Nintendo GameCube. So, thank you, Loved Again Media. I've been building up my GameCube collection, which is rather small, but they've been sending me some good stuff here. So, one thing I am seeing, and I started seeing it in my last box, was they sent me a couple of Xbox One games. Now, I did double check my list. I don't have Xbox One as a system that I have selected on my consoles for this service. So I don't know if somebody is new packing these boxes and they're getting confused with the Xbox original, thinking that the Xbox One name is for the OG Xbox, because that I do have on my list. But well, depending on the games, I can't complain too much. So this is a really good game. In fact, this is one of my favorite Battlefield games. And you can still typically get some matches on this one. I do own it digitally, so it's always good to get a physical copy because you just never know with the way things go. Although, being that this is typically a multiplayer game, although there is a decent campaign on here, so technically, if the internet went down, the servers went down, which they seem to be happening, you could actually still throw this disc in, and it should play at least for the campaign. Now, it's going to be complete in box as far as new games go. It does seem to be in really good condition. The case and if I had to guess, if I can get the disc out, probably in good condition here. Yeah, it's in fairly good condition. There's like a speck of dust over there, but not really anything to complain about. So, not a terrible game to get. Again, one of my favorite Battlefield games of all time, Battlefield 1. Okay, and we got some more Xbox One. It looks like they did give us a couple of Xbox One games, so a little disappointed because that's not really on my list, but This is another one that is a good one, and it is Call of Duty World War II. This is actually, in my opinion, a very underrated Call of Duty, and I do recommend it. You can get it for the PlayStation 4, play it on your PS5 as well, and it is in very, very good condition as well. I'm not going to bother to check some of the discs on these, because I got a feeling that this is in really good condition. So far, I do own this on the PlayStation 4 thanks to Papa Beer Gaming. Be sure to check out his channel. He sent me a copy of Call of Duty World War II. So now I do have a copy for the Xbox, which I do own an Xbox Series X. But to be honest, I don't actually buy physical games for it. If I play a game on it, it's typically through Game Pass or what I've already had, in my collection prior to me stopping purchasing physical discs for that platform. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And we are continuing. We got a couple of Xbox One games in here still to go. So this is a game that I'm pretty sure I have digitally, but again, I don't have it physically. So I don't mind getting it. I prefer to own it physically. Typically, if I do buy it digitally, it's because it was a crazy sale. And this is actually a pretty fun game. I never actually played them to completion, but Just Cause 3 for the Xbox One, the Day One edition. And again, in great condition. This is a series that I have really meant to really get into because it's definitely a game that is quite fun. There's a lot of destructible environments. The settings are usually really pretty, and all the chaos that you can do. It is kind of like an open world island, from what I remember, and you can kind of do things the way that you would want to do things. It reminds me very much so of a Red Faction, the one that was kind of open world and you could blow up buildings with C4 charges and all kinds of stuff. Kind of reminds me of that type of game there. So really cool to get. Just Cause 3. Again, not on my list, but not complaining because these are actually pretty decent Xbox One titles to get. And there are games that I would play. All right, so this one is another game that I own digitally. I do not own it physically. So again, kind of cool to get. However, this one is strictly multiplayer. Well, can't really say that because there actually is. This game at one point was strictly multiplayer, but then they added a skirmish mode where you can play against bots. So I'm pretty sure you can still play this game even if the internet does go down. So pretty cool to get. Star Wars Battlefront. I actually still play this game to this day. My son really enjoys this game, and we play the skirmish mode all the time. So pretty cool to get the physical edition. He'll get a kick out of this to get that. But I do own it digitally. In fact, I own it digitally on like everything. So PC, I think, um, Xbox, PlayStation. I own it digitally on all those because it's always super cheap. Sometimes for a couple bucks. So I ended up buying it at some point on all of these platforms. Very, very good game. If you have not played any of the newer Star Wars Battlefront games, I think they're tremendous games. I think EA actually did a really good job. Battlefront 2, despite being a good game, it really didn't take off in the beginning because of the loot box controversy, but overall, it was a great game. I enjoyed it even when it first came out. I enjoyed the campaign, although you kind of figured out what that campaign was going to be very early on. You kind of had an idea. But nonetheless, a really cool game. All right. So next up is a PlayStation 3 title. So hopefully that's the last of the Xbox One titles. I don't want any more Xbox One for this box anyways. And hopefully future boxes, they'll get that straightened out. This is a very good game, very cool game, but I do own it already. So this is a dupe. So hey, if you have is a Ratchet and Clank All for One on the PS3. The cool thing about this particular game is it is 4-player couch co-op. So I was actually at one point playing this with my kids, and we actually made it pretty far. So it is complete in box here. The manual is bent a little bit. So, all right, we have an original Xbox title here, and this is also another game that I definitely do have. But I have the what is it? Players hits, greatest hits, or um, I want to say player's choice, but that might be GameCube. Whatever the Xbox equivalent of the, we've sold a bunch of copies, so here's a cheaper version of it is. This is Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. I did play a little bit of it to capture gameplay footage the last time that I got this game, and it seemed like a pretty decent game. This one is complete in box, and I do like the way that this one looks better. So, being as there's really no need to have multiple copies of this will probably end up being the copy that I keep, and I'll probably end up selling the other one because I think the other one is also complete in box as well. So sometimes I'll swap them out if one is a better condition. But yeah, this is a, if I remember correctly, it's more in akin to like the third person, but it is co-op as well. So this will be a pretty cool game to play with my daughter or even my wife, who is also into Star Wars. So really cool game to get. Really dig the black artwork over the greatest hits version there. So looks really cool. All right, and we have an Xbox 360 title here, lodged in here. And I'm pretty sure this is a dupe. This is actually a game that I enjoyed when I was a teenager. And at some point, as an adult, at some point, I want to also get back into this series. And that is Fable 3. I know a lot of people don't like this game, but I know as a kid I enjoyed it. Well, teenager, I enjoyed it. And I don't see why I wouldn't like it again as an adult. This one does feel nice and complete. So I'll have to check my other copy. This may actually be a better version of it, and seems to be in good shape. So the one thing that I'm really noticing about this box, as opposed to the last one, is there aren't too many games that look like they've gone through the resurfacer. Actually, in really good condition. Typically, you'd find the evidence of the white stuff everywhere. Really cool game. This is also, if you're not familiar with Fable, it is an open world. You kind of have a lot of player choice, so you can be good, you can be evil, and there's a lot of decisions that you can make. Especially, I think in this one here, where it really does impact what ends up happening to your kingdom later on in the game. So there is a lot of choice there that makes a difference. All right, moving on, we have a Nintendo Wii title. Up there. All right, and who knows? This might be a hidden gem. You can let me know in the comment section below, or by the time this video is live, I've already played it. But this looks to be kind of a, I want to say a party game. It's definitely a shooter type game, and it is Nerf N-Strike for the Nintendo Wii. It's actually in pretty good condition as far as the case goes. Looking at the back, it looks akin to kind of like a party game. It's not really showing up well on the camera, but it's 4 players, and the way that the screenshots are, it looks like kind of like a fun party game. So we'll get some gameplay footage of that there. Let's feel complete in box. And it is made by EA, so you never know. It might be a decent kind of hidden gem, fun party game. We'll find out. I'll capture footage with the kids and gauge their interest and see if this is a game that they would want to keep or not. All right, back into original Xbox territory. We have Prince of Persia: The Sand of Time. I'm gonna have to double check. I think this is also another dupe, but definitely not a bad game to get. This is a great action adventure game in the third person. It is not complete in box. So I'm pretty sure the other copy that I do have is complete in box, and it is not the platinum hits here. So I was saying greatest hits or player's choice, but Xbox is platinum hits. Um, Very good game to get. It's just I already have it, so it is a dupe. So it'll eventually end up on the eBay store, which I'll have a link in the description box below, so you can check that out. Actually, I have quite a few items on there right now. At least at the time of this recording, I do. All right, so the last game in this box is an original Wii title. And what I mean by that, it is not Wii U. And it is Championship Paintball 2009. And I can't say I'm a huge paintball guy. I did dabble in airsoft for a while, but never really got into paintball. But you never know. Could be a fun game. It is single player, and it does support, and I do own that Wii Zapper, which, believe it or not, that Wii Zapper actually makes some of these games a fair bit more enjoyable, easier to aim. Quite a few games. It is complete in box, so that is cool. The disc also looks to be in good shape, and there's none of that white stuff as well. So we got a really clean box of games here. What are my final thoughts of this box? I'm gonna give it a good rating. I think even though there's a couple of dupes in here, there is a good variety of consoles. My major gripe is going to be the fact that they gave me Xbox One titles. That's not on my list. However, the games that they gave me are all games that I enjoy, and I don't mind getting them because I own them digitally as opposed to physically. So it's good to get them physically as well. So I'm not super upset about that. I may shoot them an emails just asking them, hey, what's going on? Um, I have the original Xbox selected, but I do not have Xbox One or Xbox Series console selected. Can you just make sure that I don't get as many? I don't mind getting one or two, but I don't want a full stack of Xbox One titles, especially since it's not on my list of games to get. So, what was your favorite game in this box? I'm going to go with True Crimes of New York City. I remember having a blast with the LA version, so I think I'm going to have a blast with this one as well. It is a good clone of the GTA game. So, you let me know in the comment section below, what was your favorite game of this box? Was it a good box, a bad box? What do you think? And as always, happy gaming and God bless.